Hello and welcome back to another episode of Teen Questions with me, Hollow. We have some questions prepared for you today, as always, and we have some tea right here that I must drink to validate whether I'm drinking tea or not. There you go. There you go. Tea, right there. So, I've been playing a lot of WildStar recently. It came out a few days ago. It came out 3 days early access if you pre-ordered, and then it came out like 2 days or something, however many days ago to the public who didn't pre-order. Though I'm pretty sure anyone who was planning on playing the game, or like 99.9% of the player base, all pre-ordered so they could play 3 days earlier, so they were playing at the same time as everyone else. So yeah, I would be surprised to see other people not playing and not pre-ordering before then. So yeah, I've just been having a lot of fun playing it. I've been playing it with Fluke, I've been playing it with Jake, I've been playing it with Rage. Gubiak's got a free trial right now because he can't afford the game. We've got a couple of viewers in the guild and we're slowly building ourselves up. The guild name is the Sunrunners. It's amazing because as the faction, we're like space pirates running away from the Dominion and fighting the Dominion, and it suits so well. The Sunrunners, such a cool name. What a good name. But yeah, having a lot of fun playing that game recently, and yeah, I just took a break to make this Tea and Questions. So let's go to the first question, shall we? Okay, first question comes from YOLO Drag. What is the worst game you've ever completed? I mean, the type of game you finished and then felt embarrassed to have played. Well, I couldn't for the life of me think of the answer to this question, personally. I couldn't. There was just no answer, like a single player game that I was just like, oh, why did I play that? Because if I didn't enjoy something, I would just stop playing it. But there was one game that stuck out for me. Now, it's an MMO, it's a massive, talking WildStar and MMORPGs and big games involving lots of people and that kind of thing. It was a game that came out before Guild Wars and the like, and it was essentially an attempt at the next WoW, okay? So, it was called Rift. And we were excited about Rift because it was a newer version of, new MMOs that we'd not played in one like this before. The last one we played was Aeon, and it was a bit outdated and not really in the, Western style. It was very, Asian culture style. And we really liked it, but there was glaring problems with the game because it was like grindy and stuff. But we loved the game anyway. And then this game called Rift comes out. And how it played and how it felt was an upgraded version of graphics of World of Warcraft in this new world where there wasn't that great backstory. The overarching lore and story of the world was pretty boring, grim. There was too many talent trees and specs you could go, and they were trying to avoid cookie cutter builds. But in the end, what happened was there were so many specs and choices you could take. Ultimately, only one or two for each class were viable, and these many other specs that they made weren't viable and were too weak and just crap. And the world itself was just dull and grey, and this advanced graphic style that they had, because it was a better engine and all that for an MMO, just they made these bland, dull areas that just were so boring to look at and not enjoyable to be in. And the whole thing that drew you to the game, the one thing that meant the game was remotely interesting and remotely original and did something right, was the rifts, right? The game was called Rift. And basically what would happen is while you're questing around, while you're leveling, while you're doing whatever, a rift would suddenly open nearby to you, and then monsters from the abyss would just splay out, and you had to fight these monsters that made it through, fight the ones coming through, and close the rift, and you get awesome rewards, and it'd be like a community of people who weren't grouped together, just join together, heroes or from whatever, or villagers or whatever, join together to take down this rift and close it. And it was this huge epic battle, and it felt awesome. And you closed it and you're like, yeah, and then you got rewards, and you prevented these monsters from then going on and sacking a town and affecting the world. Closing that rift saved the nearby village where you were questing. You need that village, and it was a cool idea, right? That sounds pretty cool to me. And then you close this rift, and you have this feeling of, fuck yeah, we closed the rift, and a new rift opens 2 feet from you, and while you're killing that rift, another one opens a couple meters away, and then another one opens, and it's just this constant thing. And before long, within an hour, it's just like, oh god, a rift's in the way, and we have to go close it, otherwise my quest givers are going to be dead because they're going to take over the town. And it became an annoyance incredibly fast, and that was the only saving factor for the game. So yeah, Rift. Did not enjoy that game at all, and I regret wasting time and money on it. So there you go, YOLO. Not the specific single player game that I hated or anything, but a game that I definitely was massively disappointed with. Next question comes from Cada Cultural. Hollow, would you ever consider going to an LGBT pride parade or event just to support the people? If you don't know what that is, it's like okay, how do I say it without like saying it wrong? It's like, you know, transgender people. There's no way to say it. It's just like people who aren't just your normal. Well, not normal. It's so hard to say. It's just like someone who isn't straight could be considered part of that community, you know? It's just the pride of people who, you know, like you see like gay pride stuff and that kind of thing. I've never been to one, and that's probably because there's not really many that go on in England. There's been a couple, I guess, but it's not like a thing that happens. Like you think of like San Diego and the parades they do there and that kind of thing. And I've never been to one. I mean, if there was one nearby and it was like an event I could go to with friends, sure, I'd do that because, you know, I support the people who have gone, well, I say gone that path. You don't get to choose. The people who've been through that kind of life and deserve, you know, that kind of pride, and we need to like pull away the I don't know, fear or stereotype or hate. I guess hate's the right word for that kind of community, because there are still people who just treat gay people like lesser people or hate them or whatever, and it is a terrible thing, and I'm definitely against the, you know, hate on that. But I've never been to one, and if there was one nearby me, I probably would go. So there you go. Final Gambit. What do you prefer, nostalgia or innovation in terms of gaming, I guess? I guess I would say nostalgia is a great thing, but innovation is much more important. Nostalgia is something you do from time to time. You go replay an old game, or you go, oh, they're making a new version of that old game, and I get to relive a little bit of the feeling. It's like a thing that you enjoy, but it doesn't last very long. Innovation changes, improves, and you know, you don't know what you want until it's there, and innovation leads towards that. And yeah, change is a good thing, innovation is important. Nostalgia, a good thing, happy it's there, but we shouldn't focus on feelings we've once had. We should improve and move forward in all things, really. Next question from Hanny Slays. Does your family understand, support your love of gaming and or video making? Yeah, they know that I've been a gamer my whole life. They've always said, you know, try and take it in moderation, as good parents would do. But yeah, for my video stuff, they didn't really understand what I was doing. It was usually just like a hobby, and I've explained it to them a few times, and they were just supportive of it. And then when it got to the point where I was able to make money out of it in a career, I obviously had to explain and show them what it was so that they understood, and, you know, they were able to explain to other people. And yeah, they support me. They'll help me with anything. Even if they don't understand it 100%, they'll, you know, still give me advice, and they're still there for me because I'm very lucky and I have great parents and a good family. So yeah, they understand. They're totally supportive of it, and they just want me to be happy and do what I enjoy. And and obviously they want me to be in a good situation as well, money-wise. So they'll support me all the way, and I'm very lucky for that. Next question from Ristos Mixer. Any under-development game that you'd like to play when it's out? Daisy. Yeah, I played Daisy a lot when it was an sort of an alpha version of Arma 2. It was like a mod that was free and everyone was playing it and enjoyed it. And it was amazing. I had amazing fun. I played it constantly for like 6 months with lots of people and had an amazing time. In a lot of videos, really enjoyed the game. One of the best experiences I've had in like a survival situation ever, and I love that game. Then they released it, got out of alpha, and then they went to standalone, and now they're in alpha of standalone. Or are they in the beta now? I'm not sure. Yeah, so they're like making that game. If you don't know what Daisy is, you're living under a bit of a rock there, but it's like a huge survival world where it's very hardcore survival. Like, you have to eat constantly, you have to drink constantly, you have to patch your wounds, you have to bandage, you have to find medicine, you have to kill zombies and bandits. Other players will try and kill you for your supplies. You can make groups, you make friends randomly, and I've done lots of videos on it and had many of these experiences and showcased them. And it's a very fun game. The problem is it's still in development and there's a lot of things missing from the game. For example, in the alpha version of the mod, before it was made into standalone, there was vehicles that meant that you could make camps, you could make communities, you could fight other communities and fight and try and take their bases and defend your own, late game stuff. More weapons, vehicles meant that you could travel around and do exploring. There was things where there was downed helicopters, like, army helicopters that went down, and you'd find military gear and rarer stuff. And it was just a really cool community and a really cool thing, but it needed upgrading, and that's what they're doing now, except they took away a lot of that stuff to slowly implement it so it works as it goes. And the problem is, without vehicles, there's no real late game, and I get to late game that's in the game very quickly, and it gets a little bit too dull too quick. So helicopters and vehicles, I'm waiting on that kind of patch for it. But yeah, DayZ standalone, I'm waiting for that to be released properly before I go back and play it, and I expect to play it a lot with my friends as well. Our next one from Poppy/Thera, welcome back. What's your opinion on male stereotypes in video games? As in, like, I mean the same way women often have ridiculous appearances and stereotype personalities in games. The male characters tend to be absurdly muscular and are almost always the strong heroic type, like Kratos or Blazkowicz. Do you feel empowered by this and prefer it, or do you think it should change? I'd like to hear your perspective. Well, Poppy, I don't know. I like different varieties of characters. You do see a lot of white male with a bit of stubble, a little bit too much, with brown hair, I guess. Usually is what the thing is, like Blazkowicz. Take, what's it called? Uncharted, the main character, I don't remember his name, just that person, there's a lot of those, a little bit too much. But I do like variety, but I have nothing wrong with people being muscular or strong. In situations they often find themselves in, saving the world and that kind of thing, in these ridiculous situations, you do have to be physically strong. There's room for science and, intelligence, but usually in a survival-based situation, you do have to be strong enough to survive, and it calls the weak, and main characters are often these strong types. Take like Gordon Freeman. He's not like really, really muscular, but that's because he's in this super suit that makes him strong, I like variety. I don't have a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is, like, take MMOs, like you were saying, where like there's a male character and he's in his armor and he looks really cool, and then the female version of that's just like in this skimpy outfit. That's stupid, and I hate that, and that should be removed from every game ever. Shouldn't be a thing. It's just like sexualizing to bring in more gamers or whatever. It's stupid. But I don't know. I'm not against people being strong and heroic, but I do like more intricate and interesting characters. I've been reading Demon Cycle a lot recently again, and there's a character called Roger who's not strong, not brave, but a key important character who does the right thing at the right times. And I'd like to see more kind of these characters. He's like a strong character in his own right, but he's not brave and he's not physically strong, but he's a talented person. And that's the kind of thing, hard-working person that I'd like to see more in games, I guess. But for now, I've not seen anything that makes me angry, but it would be nice to have a bit of flavour. I know, I agree with that. All right, final question comes from DW Wolfgirl. Hey, hello, why is there no facecam anymore? I'm not like demanding it, but there's not been facecam in a while, and I just enjoy the video with facecam to see your reaction to people's questions and the like. I understand that. Yeah, I understand that, Wolfgirl. The reason I've not had facecam on these in a while is because it takes a while to set up, and with the lighting I have in my room, I have to do it at a certain period in the day, take 1 to 3 p.m. If it's not sunny, it's grey, and I don't like that. It takes away from the video. It makes it a little bit more dull to look at. So I need proper lighting, and I don't have that with equipment. So I have to use natural sunlight, and I have to record them between 1 p.m. to like 4 p.m. on average, and without that it means it's much harder to record the video, and sometimes it's just easier not to have a face cam and just sit down and do it like I'm doing now. And I've been doing that for a couple of months because it's just so easy. When I get back ahead, I probably will do it from time to time, especially with vlogs and stuff. I have to plan those for the time, for the sunlight, and it just makes it harder, really, like I say, to actually make the video. So sometimes I just don't have the time to wait and record at the right time, or I might have just got up and I might look too tired. And I don't want people questioning, why do you look too tired? Well, it's because I just got up. But people, I don't know, they have problems with it. So yeah, it just makes it harder to make videos for me, and it just relieves some stress if I'm behind or whatever, if I don't have the time to spend doing that kind of thing. And recently, I've not had that time, so that's why there's not been Facecam. It'll come back, and it's something I'll still do and use, but for now, I've just not had time to do that. So there you go. I hope I answered all your questions as you wanted. If you've got a question, maybe it's raised something this time, or you've just got a question in general, please ask. Leave a comment in the comments on this video. That's where I go look for videos. That's where I go look for questions, and then they make it onto the show. Sorry if you've had a question that's already been answered. I'm avoiding questions I've already answered many times. If it feels like your question's good enough to be answered, but I'm not picking it, go back and watch some of the previous ones. I've probably answered your question. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.